Absentee bishop. Unrest and missionary strength reduction, or lose ducats. At least one of our neighbours be outraged by the scandal, acting as if it had happened to them as well. May affect their decisions when dealing with the church reform and heresy. Heresy and greed. See the dynasty map? Sure. Plantagenet, Bruce, Valois, Rivera. It's not going to be that interesting right now, I don't think. Except the Anjous are in charge of Hungary, apparently. And Austria is not Habsburg yet. But Bohemia is. Oh no, that's Luxembourg, sorry. Portugal's Plantagenet too. Interesting. Before the Lancasters took over. Army deserters lose a bunch of money but gain some legitimacy and some morale. Or lose it. The morale of our troops is sinking and groups of deserters have been spotted joining the rebel ranks. If this continues, there is no way we can stop them from taking over. I suspect that morale is going to be super duper useful here. So I am going to dip into my construction fund again. Which was a lot. So strengthen their morale. Thankfully we'll take the siege of Berry before Bruce falls. Probably. And our morale since has gone up to full. One thing I could actually do is request support from the lesser nobles. Oh. No, I can't because this isn't actually a war, it's only a civil war. It's in the title! It's a war! Benign neglect, where's this? Bureau... I have no idea where that is. Ah. This is a livestock producing place, so it's not hugely profitable in terms of that, and in fact has 100% autonomy. I'll go with the trade value then, seeing as that's the only thing I think not affected by autonomy. Right, 6,000 against 8,000. I'm drilled, we're all cavalry, which means we are going to be suffering a 25% penalty. But we're all cavalry, which in this era still reigns supreme. So shock fire phase, I take the most damage, but then shock phase, we obliterate them. We're winning in morale. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. Excellent. I did not misjudge this. Round 1 went to us. Where are they retreating to? Bry. So we'll run there. I'm not going to do a am I? I'm going to do a shift consolidate. Although maybe we shouldn't have, because this way we would have had people flanking them, which do extra damage. Plus my general has a flanking bonus. We stack wipe them anyway. Okay, so how does this civil war end? Legitimacy at least 90. It's going to be 28 years from now. Getting positive stability will help. Well, I guess we'll move over here. I'd love to start drilling again, but I'm not sure that I can really afford to. Right, speed 3. Now England, if you wanted to attack me, now would be the perfect opportunity. Hey, Starmac. Oh no, now I'm losing innovative. Oh, I don't think I have any to begin with. Oh, I do actually. Because we're so far behind in everything. England's Miltech 10. Actually, we're not. Stability of France has improved. Huzzah! And with it goes an increase in legitimacy. We could establish monastic schools. First universities were established during the Middle Ages. Most grew naturally out of the smaller schools run by monks of a monastery. Because they represented a body of literate scholars, it was the natural location to enable nearby nobles to send their children to receive a basic education. At the same time, they also learned a deeper understanding of their faith. Sure. Oh, we got a new thing here. That one, I think. No, sovereignty was always here. I think we got this one's new. Having more income from vassals would be tempting, but I really don't want to spend the points on that. We're definitely taking the two most potent ones. I think that's worth the investment. So we're reinforcing the armies, which is sodding expensive. Brittany's having an uprising. I'm not sorry to see that. Rising support amongst the Languedocian population. As a leading figure of the Languedocian population, Beatrix de Poitiers has both a good insight and strong influence far beyond the council which she is part of in Paris. In fact, that she has used to her advantage, strongly increasing the popular support for our kingdom and the Francian people that rules it. Ah, that's good. How are we doing here, by the way? Still 33%. Look at the number of cardinals now available. That's just gone up massively. So I'm going to continue investing fairly heavily to try and see if I can wrestle that back again before I completely lose it. Because I still have 4 cardinals, the others don't. Well, at least legitimacy is going up pretty quickly now. That helps. Craftsmen abandon their workshops. I will definitely be bribing you not to. Oh! Because I improved the conditions of the serfs, I have a minus 5% unrest. So this civil war has been a lot less potent than it could have been. That was actually a very foresighted move there, Mordred. Well done. Totally unintentional. How long does that last? 7 more years. Okay. Good stuff. Could improve trade efficiency, but we're behind the times in admin. I want to try and keep as modern in terms of technology as possible. This doesn't seem to be a very active civil war. No. MEIOU and Taxes isn't very active generally. That's definitely one of the things that I had to learn. Patience. But I do think it's a problem that it's so... I'm not going to say badly optimized, because I don't think it necessarily is. There's just so much going on under the scenes, or behind the scenes, that it runs slowly. And you can't really go above speed 3, because the others are actually just even slower, as the game struggles to make the calculations. See you, Chuckles. Royal marriage from Aragon. That will set me back a little bit, but then will help me long term. Lose 2, but gain 0.6. And I'm allied to you already, aren't I? I am. Yeah, right. That's gone down. Why has that gone down? Am I actually married to all of my allies? Let's double check this. Yes, and I'm married to a bunch of people that I didn't need to be married to. Which is also fine. New plague has... Oh, London. Plague will soon be upon us. We already see the pillars of smoke in neighbouring provinces. Alas, the people might share the same fate. Plague measures. We have a variety of measures we can take to stave off the plague. We can close our ports and restrict our trade, as well as train plague doctors to give tax relief to peasants so that they can better manage the affairs of the plague makes it to our lands. I'm going to train plague doctors. May hire plague doctors to treat the infected, as well as take sanitary and precautionary measures before the plague strikes. Will this not stop it from affecting the provinces? It will help diminish the effects as well as slow its spread. Bear in mind, it will take 2 months after selecting the option for the plague doctors to take effect, so it's necessary to hire plague doctors before it strikes. That will cost me more money than I have. Restriction of trade. If we restrict trade in all our trade centres, we'll lose the trade centre bonus for 5 years, but also remove the extra plague susceptibility that trade centres suffer. Also be 50% less likely for the plague to jump into our trade centres from abroad. Considering they're right next door already, I'm not sure that would help very much. Oops. Burkers have the greatest control of commerce and traffic in and out of the ports and may not be very happy with the notion of closing the ports. If we close our ports, we'll reduce the chance of plague spreading between ports in the same sea zone by 50% and also eliminate the susceptibility malus that each province receives from its port level. Again, even if it gets to us, it could still spread elsewhere and then come by land. I think we just need to dig in. Done something wrong, Patrician 3 episode, most of it's black. I suspect that's because the way I was doing the editing is I would chop up the episodes, then delete everything, and sometimes there was something right at the very end of that. So ignore it. Like, as long as the video plays in the first half an hour, just skip after the first 30 minutes. Like, my video shouldn't be longer than 30 minutes, so if it's longer than that, you know something's wrong. And the plague's here, so I am glad I did not hire plague doctors, because they would have been way too late. Hitting Brittany first. See, even if I'd closed my ports, it would have still struck us, because Brittany didn't. Mordred used the camera funds for another Hanseatic venture. Priorities. It's 3.5 hours, so yeah, just watch the first half an hour and then done. Move on to the next one. This is going to piss off my nobles as well. Oh well, at least I'm not taking extra loyalty damage. Civil war brings our nation to its knees. I mean, let me finish that sentence. At least I'm not suffering extra loyalty damage for having shut the ports and stuff for the Burkers. Political conflicts have tormented our nation for too long. We are at an evolutionary standstill and drastic measures must be taken to reclaim our nation's prominence and put an end to the infighting before it's too late. Nothing we can do. Autonomy everywhere. Support one of the factions. Lose admin. Gain legitimacy. Start negotiations to remove reduce damage. I'm going to do this one. That gets us to 70%. That's helpful. Although I suspect that the fact that we're taking sides means that we're going to have more uprisings. Pagan poetry and Christian ethics. The Renaissance was a period when the Greek and Roman classics were rediscovered and translated into Latin. In the Middle Ages, they had been shunned for being pagan, but now humanist scholars re-evaluated them on their ideas rather than their heresy. Ancient writers such as Plato, Socrates and Aristotle had much to say on topics such as ethics and politics, and these ideas were just as relevant in 1400 as they had been 2,000 years earlier. The result was a flowering of philosophy, poetry and science as the ancient classics inspired modern interpretations. However, it was also a time for increased skepticism about religion. If a pagan who died long before Christ was born could use logic to determine good and evil, what did that say about the Bible? Too many French philosophers, and the answer was simple. Being a good Christian meant following a code of ethics, not following the Bible. One could live an ethical life by being honest, hard-working, generous and kind without ever touching a relic, going on a pilgrimage or purchasing an indulgence. But then, where did this leave the church? Live according to conscience, not church rules, so we lose influence. Reform desire goes up, but we gain power. Classics are deeply flawed, but still worth reading. We get a religious scandal. We run the risk of being excommunicated as heretics. See, if I was the papal controller, that wouldn't be a problem. So many bloody people now. Ban them as a heresy. Gain legitimacy. Sod the Pope. How? I see no looting, no rampaging armies devastating the countryside. My knees, rear end. 5% of the population is dead. Lose 2,400 manpower. Oh, please don't reduce my stability. Son of a bitch! Crusade against the Ottomans. Alright then. Please tell me this is at least... Oh yeah, started in England. I was going to say, please tell me this has spread to England. Yes. Yes, it has. It's not the worst plague we've ever seen. There are no red tiles. It's all yellow is the worst. And it's going to hit us early, so hopefully it's just going to swipe through. Yeah, any hold that we may have once have had on the papacy is completely gone. So we are now 19 years away from... No, less than that. No, it's about 19 years. Give or take a bit. At least you didn't lose 15% of the populace and go down 3 stability. Yeah, that's true. Civil disorder transfers into chaos. Minor political conflicts have tormented our nation for some time. Same thing. Spend money. Lose prestige. Gain legitimacy. Nothing we can do. We'll stop it at any cost. 13 away. Revolt risk has gone up. We have some potential Dutch separatists. I think I'm going to run to Paris and I'm just going to start drilling again. I said Paris. That's not Paris. That's Paris. Seeing as I have them at full maintenance anyway. Yeah, it'll take them longer to recover, but we saw last time, like, because everywhere is fortified, that's less of a problem. Unscrupulous in-laws. A royal marriage can sometimes be a blessing, but in our weakened state, due to the clash between monarchs and the aristocracy, it is nothing less than a curse. Opportunistic in-laws are regarding this as the perfect timing to expand their influence and gain more power. Lose prestige, gain autonomy in Lyonnais, or lose admin and 5 pretenders rise up in Bigora. Alright, stop drilling. Head down to Bigora. Well, we didn't get to do the drilling for very long, did we? I didn't want to lose any more prestige because prestige equals morale. And also prestige equals legitimacy growth, right? Yes, 0.11. Civil disorder becomes chaos. Get another 5, lose a little bit more. See, this one's worth it because that gives me legitimacy. 8 away. The dynasty of our noble king, de Valois, is certainly a powerful one, though Charles VI, they rule the nation and will do so for many years to come. However, even the great are sometimes in need of help. Admin, Diplo, military, manpower, nothing. Let's say we don't need anything. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Alright, one more. We're at 87. We need that event one more time. And then we win the Civil War. Witch hunt in Narbonne. Christians believe the devil worked on evil on good Christians through human hosts, and consequently when ill befell them they blame the misfortunes on these witches, and take suspected witches to a church court, where they could usually be found innocent for lack of evidence. During times of great upheaval, witch trials could lead to mass hysteria and mob lynchings when a court found the defendant's favour, or where the law could not or would not be enforced. These witch hunts became especially common after the church council that ended the schism met in Basel, a town known for its anti-witchcraft theology. Ironically, although witch hunts have their origins in Catholicism, they were far more prevalent under Protestantism, which lacked the ecclesiastical courts of their Catholic neighbours. That's interesting, didn't know that. Gain unrest in Narbonne. Paris gets unrest. Lose war exhaustion. Do I have war exhaustion? No. So that's irrelevant. Organise a witch tribunal in Paris or discourage it. Discourage it. Pass Witchcraft Act. In an era with a centralised justice system, witch hunts and mob lynchings were an embarrassment at best, a danger at worst. Although the hunts themselves were declared illegal, this did not stop mobs from forming during legal witch trials. The solution then was to declare the trials themselves illegal, which was to arrest anyone accused and to arrest anyone who accused someone else of being a witch. With that, the problem abruptly went away. Prevent witch hunts from happening in the country, move towards secularism. Witchcraft was denounced as non-existent in the 8th century by the Catholic Church. Interesting. I didn't know it was more prevalent in Catholic countries. Like, when you think of things like the Inquisition, you kind of expect Catholicism for it to be far more issue, but no. And there we go. This is going to be the end. I'm a ducat short. Are you freaking kidding me? Right. Burkers. This is going to annoy you. But I'm going to need to go ahead and demand money from you. And there we go. Problem solved. End of the Civil War. Gain 10 legitimacy and 150 stability. Our troops are gaining ground. It seems many of the rebels have lost their incentive to fight, and the result, large groups are retreating. This is our chance to end this madness and restore order. Good. Are you serious? No! There should be a cooldown. That's ridiculous. Especially as I'm 100% legitimacy. I thought... Following must be true. Legitimacy only 75. I do. So I think that's not actually going to appear. One more month and then we'll go and kill these guys. So much for peace in our time. First of June. I want you to attack Narbonne. This is a mountainous province? Yeah, it is. And we're defending because we have the fort. As long as it still works that way. It does! Glorious! So we have slightly less morale than they do. They also have more tactics? What? How? You have the same. It just displays as less for me. That's really bizarre. We're not going to get any flanking bonus, which is unfortunate, because that's where we really excel. Also, their general, 5 shock. Sorry, 5 fire, 2 shock, so we're not going to do as much damage during the shock phase. Still quite substantial, though. Our Archbishop brings news from the Holy See. A new Pope has been chosen. We know little of him and his plans to lead the Church, but obviously he has strong support. His authority has gone up. Naples has become Papal controller. The number of cardinals continues to grow. Victory is mine. So we'll go and sit on Lyonnais once again. I can reduce maintenance on these guys. That civil war did indeed go away. Good. Why do I have only cavalry? Because my force limit is tiny and I can get a bunch of infantry from the estates during a war. So my plan is to have cavalry, drill them up to maximum, and they basically act as the awesome central core of my army. Also, French cavalry are strong. And prior to these guys, they were unique to France, but they leveled up, or they tiered up. Whatever the word would be. Okay, we're earning money. First thing I'm going to... No, I'm not. Once we have 200, I'm going to put 100 back into the construction fund, seeing as I keep on stripping that money out. Am I using mods? Yes, this is MEIOU and Taxes. Hints in the title. And I'm losing money again. Except I'm not really. And we also need to increase funding for the court again. And I really need to improve their privileges, favours. Decade of self-rule, gain stability, they gain loyalty. We spend a diplomat and they get plus 25 autonomy in every state. Burkers gain 5 loyalty, gain inflation, gain loyalty, gain corruption. We'll give them a decade of self-rule. I need them to have higher loyalty so that I can strip them of more stuff later. What about favours for you? I can give you a magnificent gift, which you definitely can't afford, or a bunch more corruption. No. The thing that I'm really against this is granting this favour will cause the estate's next privilege demand to come 5% sooner. We don't want them to do those. Those are very, very, very bad. Because unless you have stability, you can't say no. And even then, it will cost you a bunch of stability. But it is a way of getting their loyalty up. So prestige is going to be going up again. Advisor just died. I think I might just leave you.